Hello and welcome to a very creepy episode of Dinks with Kinks. I'm sorry, I can't even do that. Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of Dinks with Kinks. Well, it's our Halloween episode.
That is true.
Before we get into tonight's episode, I want to remind everybody that we are in fact on that social media at Dinks with Kinks on Instagram, Facebook, and X. I keep wanting to say Twitter, but it's X.
It's X now?
His intro certainly was creepy. So.
I don't know. Is anybody still on X or Twitter or whatever they used to call it? Is anybody?
Yeah,
or is it now their X?
That's true.
We use it as a podcast. We do communicate through our audience through it. You can contact us through there and tell us about what you think of the episodes, request episodes, give us your opinion if we covered your kink. We'll answer on X.
So what you're saying is our advertising is now X-rated.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's always been X-rated. It's just pictures of my peen and next to Rebecca's feet.
Yeah.
With a thumbs up from you.
It seems all I see. Is it just me? Is it the algorithm that all I see are tits? I'm not mad at it, but it's like...
I think you're doing good.
Okay,
I think
cool,
you're doing
cool.
real good. But Halloween is just a couple days away, so I figured tonight we would do something a little different, cover a couple kinks, but they're all very macabre. We're really here to snuff out the darkness and just get in and having the lightheartedness of these dark-sided kinks. How are you guys doing?
Snuff out all the stuff you just... Well,
boys, you're both pretty.
Yeah,
you doing good?
You're killing me, Smalls.
What?
You're killing me.
Yeah.
Well, we're definitely going to be killing it
straight
tonight.
up murder.
Okay, so all right, we have off the rails, but tonight we are going to be talking about kinks that could literally kill you, and kinks for being literally killed. A lot of people
Not saying that one of our previous ones, the whole falling down the stairs. Not that couldn't kill you or anything, but yeah,
absolutely.
These are more direct, I guess.
Do you guys know if I say the word snuff film? Do you guys know what that is?
Yes.
Okay.
I call it
for
torture
the audience
porn.
who doesn't.
That's what a lot of times torture porn.
I cannot confirm nor deny your statement.
It's not.
What?
It's honestly not always torture porn, but it is in fact a type of pornographic film where the quote unquote actress or actor actually dies in the film. Like these were purposely staged as actual murders or accidental deaths, quote unquote. You can't see me doing air quotes, but I'm doing them really hard.
I was about to say, you're doing the air quotes and they can't see you. That's like shouting, nodding his head.
Audio podcast.
As for all the times he calls me out of making faces,
I know.
Always
I called myself out.
That's true.
I called myself out.
Yeah.
I thought you were doing the bunny foo-foos.
So, snuff films have honestly been popular since film has been around.
Yeah.
A lot of people think they kind of came about when the internet happened, but I think they just kind of came into more light when the internet happened. And what a snuff film is, again, it is a pornographic film depicting the actual murder of the actress. And we don't mean like stage, but allegedly actual murder.
Allegedly.
Actual death.
Yeah.
Yeah, and honestly, it's not even porn in the grand scheme of things. Oftentimes, it's just
it is just
depicting actual death.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But the actual when you think I'm going to make a snuff film, most of them, one, are staged; they're not real. Two, are pornographic, because I think that's kind of the element there is the sex and death. You guys know what the French call the orgasm, right?
Le petit mort, right? The little death.
Yeah. The little death, because they say an orgasm is the closest thing you'll ever get to death. Mm-hmm. The sweet release of death. And you're not 100%
die all the time, so yeah, I understand that.
Well, that's the thing is you're not 100% wrong with that, because if you look at the chemistry of what an orgasm is and the chemistry of what happens when you die, they're very similar.
Mm-hmm.
A flood of endorphins, adrenaline, everything to make everything that's happening awesome. Because typically when you're dying, you're in a great deal of pain. So your body's like, you know what? We got this. We're dying. Give them everything. Mm-hmm. So there and has it where you can kind of make the connection of why people kind of get off on death.
I think it's also a power play. I mean, this is also my personal opinion because I am not into this kink, and I'm not. But I think from an outsider's perspective, I feel like it's a power thing. I have the power of life and death, and I'm watching somebody pass away. I'm taking, like, somebody's life is, and I'm alive. I feel like that also is like a driving force. It's very, when you have that surge, anybody who's been in a position where you've had that sort of surge of power, it can be very addicting. That's why you have all these, moguls that are just, power is addicting because it releases all of the same type of chemicals in your brain. So, I mean, I would say for me, that's what it seems like is the snuff film has the attraction because it gives you power, makes you feel powerful.
Yeah. And also, we talked about this in like the taboo episode when we talked about like things that should not be. That sick sensation you get where you're finding pleasure in something you shouldn't.
Yeah.
And I think as morally stands, that's why I like movies like Saw. I hope most people who watch movies like Saw do not get off on the gore, like actually want to do these things. Right. But it's taboo. You're almost not supposed to enjoy it, which makes you enjoy it so much more. The same people who laugh at funerals. You're not supposed to.
I laugh at funerals only because I'm uncomfortable. I laugh when I'm uncomfortable.
Yeah, that's me. I'm the cool.
I make inappropriate comments at funerals.
I do often as well. But here's the side that most people don't realize. A lot of people like to envision themselves as the victim. Be the person who's killed.
I can see that.
There are a large community, and I have been lurking in their forums and checking them out. I've actually spoken to a couple of them, and it's so surreal to talk to somebody who kind of gets off on the idea of dying because 90% of them are not suicidal. They are not, what you would consider somebody who is unstable or in need of help. I think it's that same thrill seeker, like what did Peter Pan say
another
best?
Form of an adrenaline junkie. Adrenaline junkie.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's it. That's one. You got one last ride,
right?
And that last ride is going to be in your control. Mm-hmm. And yeah, how close can you get? Everything from people who enjoy constriction, breath play. Quicksand, the quicksand fetish. We've covered that before.
Right.
I'm a fan of grim endings. I'm going to be honest. I can't tell you why. I don't want to murder people. I love people. People are good. But I love grim endings, and I think it's because it's like
I like happy endings.
You should watch that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, you can take your grim ending, but I'm going to have a happy one.
Yeah, they have a grim ending, and I have a happy ending because of it. And I think it is that, like, exactly what you said, like that power play, but like also it's the adrenaline rush. Like you are watching it happen. Your body responds to death, even if it's not your death. By like seeing somebody die, the human nature is to put yourself in those shoes pretty quickly.
Yeah, but it's the
empathy.
Same as like watching, like your body has this reaction, like, and it's different for everyone, but like that when you see something, it's like some people faint at the sight of blood and some people go deathly calm. I mean, your body and your brain has a reaction. So, I mean, like for me, if I see something like that, I'm going to be like, oh, but somebody else is going to be like, oh, like, so it's very similar in that your brain is making your body have a physical reaction. So. Yeah,
and I think a lot of what this is not so much. Now we know we love when we talk kink, talk trauma.
Yeah,
But from personal experiences, I don't have a lot of trauma when it comes to anything of that regard. And I had it before I experienced most of my trauma. Mm-hmm. Like, I know when I started liking this, and I know when I had trauma. And they do not coincide. One was before the other. And I think what it is I think my brain, I'm an empath. I feel for people. I feel their things. I put myself in their shoes. And having that chemical reaction in my brain just releases all of those endorphins of, oh my God, that's happening. Mm-hmm. My heart starts to race. And of course, you know, you have two choices when your heart starts to race: fight or flight. Mm-hmm. But here on Dinks with Kinks, we got three choices: fight, flight, boner.
But it is true, folks. He is often in my shoes, and I'm always telling him, what the hell are you doing with my shoes? Get the hell out of them. Put them back.
Just wear them. He leaves them sitting around, and I put them on, and I walk around the house going, I'm Mr. Shep. I'm doing Shep shit.
I mean, it's not funny because it's true. But anyways, so we have other fetishes that I guess you could call similar to these, like breath play, because it is a tempting fate, taking away the breath and putting you on the brink of things. So how would you say maybe these are different from that one?
Well, I mean, I think it's in what aspect do you enjoy of it? Because, okay, so breath play, for example. Most of the people I know who enjoy breath play have no urge to ever come that close.
I'm into breath play, and I know that, like, if, like, you get to a certain point, and I'm tapping, like, you know, I'm like, no.
Yeah.
I don't have that urge to see how far I can take it. It's one of those, okay, and here's my certain point. But I feel like if you're into, let's see, I want to see how far I can take. It's life. It's almost like life edging. You're edging life. Like, let's see how close I can get without ever going over the edge. And, you know,
it's like another version of The Price is Right. Oh my God.
Without going over, exactly.
And I think that is
it all comes
right
back
there.
to The Price is Right.
Yeah.
Is, okay, so, for example, I have my pantyhose fetish, and I love only feet and pantyhose. Do I have a pantyhose fetish, or do I have a foot fetish that I just like covered in pantyhose?
You hate feet, so...
But I'm just, as an example, do I have a breath play fetish, or do I have a death fetish? And breath play is just a very fun way to experience that.
Yeah, fair.
Like, using, you know, like, there's people who have breath play fetishes, and then there's people who use breath play to get to their life edging. That's what we're going to start calling that kink. Life edging.
You like that? You like that? I know you did.
Yeah, I like
you're
that.
Welcome. You're welcome, Internet. You're welcome, everyone. I just gave you life edging.
And the more I was reading into it, stuff like that, it's also like that sense of uncontrol. You're not in control. Because in our brains, no matter, you know, because every person I've talked to with this fetish, they're not suicidal. They don't want to end their own life. You know, they don't have those, you know, inclinations. They're usually not depressed. So I think it's more or less your death is out of your control. I kind of get off on how how out of control I am at that moment. Like, I have no control of the situation. Death is coming. I'm getting off on it.
Death is coming.
Does that make sense? Like, yeah, death is coming.
No,
and so am I.
That makes sense.
Or they just have a...
Oh, sorry, go ahead, Shep.
I don't know. That is her.
I mean, as somebody, as a sub, and like I get that. Like, nothing turns me on more when I don't have control of a situation. When it's one of those when I've released that power and that control, and I like. If I'm with somebody and my pleasure is in their hands and I can't, that's not my choice. And I think that there's a thrill in that. There is a thrill in that. And I can see where death is also that idea of, I could die from this, like that, where that gets a little, that can get a little exciting.
Because if you cross that threshold, you have no control at that point. You're done. And usually it goes too far. And that exhilaration, because like I said, a lot of people have trouble suspending disbelief. You know, they're the same people who watch a movie and go, yeah, it's fake. Well, of course it's fake. You're supposed to pretend. And so they struggle with, like, okay, I'm submissive, but I can still kick your ass. Like, if this situation were to reverse, I could take your ass out. But death, there's no beating that. It's going to get us all in the end.
Well, yeah.
And so it's I think that's where a lot of this stems from. It stems from, you know, you are aroused by not being in control of your own destiny, fate. And it's terrifying. I tell you what, I don't have those things. I have constant, existential crisis. Mm-hmm. I see the end. I shut down. My heart starts beating. And I am in a panic attack for at least 30 minutes. And I'm done. Mm-hmm. I was listening to a podcast the other day, and they're talking about how, like, close a meteorite could come to the Earth and just wipe us all out in seconds. And there's nothing we can do about it. Boom. I'm in a panic attack. I'm in a corner going, everything is going to be all right. Rockabye.
And this is also why he struggles with masturbating, because, you know, he feels the end coming and he's like, oh, no, I can't.
Right at the end. Right at the end.
He just shuts
panic
down.
Attack. Panic attack, shut down. It goes everywhere. I'm done.
You see?
Quietly weeping.
But, you know, since we like to look at things from all angles, I also wonder, is this fetish based upon death itself? I mean, what if these people would fantasize about the hooded figure with the scythe coming to them?
I haven't actually found that, but I bet you, listen, Rule 34, if it exists, someone gets off to it.
Yep. That's why we're here.
Yeah, that's literally why we're here. And that might actually, you know, that could be also a case too to look at. The more I think about it, the more I kind of put it out there is anxiety.
Scare
Can
arousal.
anxiety be sexual? Yeah, arousal.
It's just
Scarousal.
Just like we've talked about that before. Yeah. I mean, it's that adrenaline, endorphin rush. Like how, like think of that feeling you get. Like, say, okay, you're driving your car and you almost get in an accident, and like you have that just your rush, that rush of just all those, like that feeling, and you're like, you can everything tingles, everything is tingling because you're hyper aware. And I can also see where that would play into this as well, because the sensations when you're at that level is like you feel everything so much more intensely at that point.
Oh, absolutely. And I've been in those moments, like where you cheat death, and we all have them. And it could be as simple as you take a step and you didn't realize it was a step down. And next thing you know, your heart is beating out of your chest.
Or a tree goes through your windshield.
I could 100. Well, yeah, I've gone through a windshield. I will say this, coming close to actual death and then cheating death, two very different sensations. As someone who's experienced both, gonna tell you right now, cheating death, much more exhilarating. Actually experiencing it, it's all right. I mean,
actually experiencing it is kind of a one-and-done thing. So I mean, who wants to do that?
You go numb real fast as someone who's gone through a windshield. You're like, everything's all right. We're gonna be cool. But that moment, exactly what you said, that adrenaline spike of you almost died. Mm-hmm. I could absolutely see, and I think that's kind of where a lot of this comes from. Yeah,
I mean, I don't know. I can see the appeal of this, just in that that's where I can almost see the appeal. But then I again, like, you get a little too far in the breath play, and I'm like, oh, okay, we're good. I don't, but I just,
you know, when people
go ahead.
You just what?
No,
You just what?
I was just chatting.
What?
And I was just gonna ask, like, everyone's all about the appeals. I'm like, what kind of appeal though? No one ever says what kind. Is it a banana peel? An apple peel?
I'm done.
What kind of appeal are we doing here?
He punned too far.
No, he did.
He did not cheat death on that one. That was pun death right there.
No, it was not. It was great. I saw it coming and I loved it. I let it happen. It's great.
I mean, Yeah.
I saw it coming all over my
You
face.
do.
Yeah, but
We're gonna paint
what
the
you were
town
describing,
and maybe some face.
Yeah.
I like that. But what you're describing in that moment, and we've all experienced it. Your heart drops. I could absolutely see getting aroused from that.
Yeah.
Only just because of how many chemicals are now rushing through your body, and it's adrenaline, and you are ready to go. You're like, oh damn. Which is why usually if you're in an accident or something like that, it happens, and that adrenaline kicks in, you feel zero pain. Same when you're having an orgasm.
Yeah, but also think about those movies that, like, you see them where they're like, oh, they go through something horrific and they just escape, and then all of a sudden these couples are like just humping each other like that. Also, like that, it's the same thing. That rush of, I need to fuck some. It's very primal. It's very visceral. It's that instinct of I cheated death or I escaped death. I am alive and I want to feel alive. I want to feel everything, and I think that makes a lot of sense. Like, I want to feel alive, and what's more alive than fucking? Like, what is more alive than that?
It's the end of the world as we know it, and I need to bone.
I want to go out boning.
And I feel pain.
I feel it deep inside.
Yeah, and getting faint. It's getting faint. What? I'm choking
I
on
can never
your
tell
vagina.
if I stroked out and missed this or not. But did we ever define like the official scientific word of this particular or one of these fetishes?
No.
I know we've covered a few in this one.
Yeah, I mean, like, we've covered snuff.
Snusu?
Honestly, I don't think. I think this is one of those kinks that masks itself so well that it is, like I said, it's breath play, quicksand,
it's within the shadows, so many existing ones.
Blood play.
Yeah, rope play, blood play. There are so many facilitating kinks that I think a lot of times when people have this kink, well, I think a lot of times when they have this kink, they find their outlet and they just assume this is their kink.
Right.
So you have this, but you're not aware that you have a life edging kink.
Life edging.
You're about to Peter Pan the fuck out of it and have that last great adventure.
And I'm Tinkerbell, your ultimate brat.
And so I don't know if there is a proper, because I couldn't find one. And if there is, if you're listening to this and this is something that's really into and you've done a lot more research, because like I said, we can only do so much and talk to so many people. Most people I talk to, I don't think they were fully aware that it wasn't like it was a step above what their actual fetish was. Because they all talk the same. Like you talk to someone with the breath play, I talk to somebody with like constriction or rope play or quicksand. And, I've talked to all of them. Listening to them talk is almost the exact same, just from different perspectives. It's the exact same story of the adrenaline rush, the knowing that this is it. You are going to die in orgasm. The last thing you experience is pure
vector.
Yeah. And this is how everyone was described at the end. The last thing I'm going to do is finish. I mean, they use different words, but that's it.
Yeah.
I am going to finish. And it is going to be out. And I see the beauty in that.
Yeah.
Because you know what? I'm going to be honest. If I had to choose my death, it's going to be while I'm doing that.
Last thing I do, I'm not going to poop myself. That's for damn sure.
Which, if I ever have to sacrifice myself to save somebody, just know, as I'm doing it,
you're rubbing one out.
My last words are going to be like, gotta finish.
As I take a bullet for you, I'm going to shoot some bullets at them.
My last words are going to be,
Mine are going to be a little louder than that, but, okay.
But I do kind of like this, and I think it was a fun thing to talk about in Halloween. Like, I know we do so much kink positivity,
but a good thing to talk about.
It was fun. I had fun. I've actually had fun researching this all week. I have been wanting to do this kink for a while.
That's
and
scary.
Scary. It was scary fun.
But of course, also in the end, folks, Things with Kinks does not endorse snuff films because they are bad.
And we do not.
No.
Bad.
We do not. We do not endorse anything that could potentially hurt yourself or someone else. And especially take someone's life. But that being said, it's fun recognizing that there are literally kinks hiding around us that no one is aware is an actual kink. Just like death is around every corner, your arousal to it might also be.
Just like John sneaking in my shoes.
Yep.
I'm walking around in Shep shoes. I'm wearing them right now. Look at me, I'm doing Shep shit.
Doing shit.
Shitty pun! Ha ha!
You're gonna take some Shep shit.
Ooh, okay. Ew.
But yeah, but to wrap it up, this was something fun, and happy Halloween, everyone who's listening to it. I love stuff like that. If you do have this fetish, please reach out to us. Like, give us some more information, because like I said, this is one that was hard to research because people don't talk about it.
Oh no, because they're afraid of the stigma around it. And
as you seek the treats, don't forget to be armed with the tricks.
Right.
Do you know, like, if you search anything like somebody dying of this or I want to die of that, you don't get the response to that. You get a, do you need help?
Yep.
Because they're like, oh, you must be suicidal, and I'm like, no, I'm just getting off. Okay, I'm trying to look up porn. Shut up. And that's it. That just really
yes, with my boner.
Yeah. With my meats here, I need help, assistance. Show me the porn that I want to see, and I'm fascinated by stuff like that.
Yeah.
Things of that nature.
With beaning.
look at the meat. Oh.
Or I need help with my nubbins.
Nubbins. Levin the Levin.
Nubbins.
Levin the Nubbin.
Oh. I mean, of course, like I said, we do not condone any violence towards anybody, any death to anybody. We want everyone to live long and happy lives.
We want them to live long and prosper.
Responsibly.
Be kinky, but be safe doing it.
Yeah, kink responsibly and consent. And no one really consents for murder. Actually, some of the people I talk to would absolutely consent to murder. That's the crazy part. It's just,
but
I know talking to them, I'm like, I bet you if it was on the table, they would not feel that way. Like, if it was like, this is going to happen.
Yeah.
But talking to a stranger on the internet, oh, yeah, I'll consent to that.
Right.
Fuck yeah, I will.
I think it's one of those things where the fantasy is greater than the reality.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like I said, I enjoy grim endings. I don't want to die. I don't want to murder people. Yeah. Anybody who knows me knows that I'm like, I would give the shirt off, my back just so someone didn't have a splinter. Not really the murderous type. But sometimes watching it, I'm like,
I mean, sure, the Grim Reaper is kind of sexy, but I'm sure he smells like death.
Oh, and with that, we have to end there. That's perfect. We have to.
I want to thank my two favorite people in the whole wide world for hosting this podcast with me, Miss Rebecca and Mr. Shep.
Good night, everyone.
Again, my name is John Undera, and thank you guys for listening. Follow us on our social media. Bye.
Till next time.